Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to episode 9 of the Stand Up Guys podcast. I'm your host once again, the incomparable Zach Jones, alongside the Bo Bridges to my Jeff Bridges, Lester Jones.
I'm Lester.
And of course, rounding out the panel, we got the ninth wonder, Chocolate Thunder, eating that poon, never stopping too soon, the clit licking, never quitting, no matter how tired, no matter how hurt. Forget about water. He only drinks squirt. The phenomenal AJ Singh.
Hello, everyone.
Alrighty, let's get this nonsense started. Any good stories from the week other than just staying inside, trying not to choke on the smoke here in Portland?
I mean, that's pretty much this week. It's just
Yeah.
been smoky and fires, and everyone's kind of hiding out.
Yeah, it is smoky as fuck outside.
Yeah, the evacuation's like right up until our neighborhood, so we're good for now, but
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering about that too. Yeah, because same here. Is like they got like 3 stages of evacuation, and like on the map, like ours is like in the number 1
Yeah.
zone or whatever, and like number 2 zone basically means get all your shit together and like be ready. And then there's a couple zones that have been evacuated, I guess, but. Yeah, so it's definitely dodgy. Hopefully they get it all under wraps here pretty soon. But you guys do anything interesting this week? Watch anything interesting?
I've been watching Lucifer. I like that show. It's on Netflix.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never watched that. I never read the comic either. You like it though?
Yeah, I do like it.
So what's the basic premise of that show?
So, the devil lives in Los Angeles, and he's not as bad as you think he is. Like he's just misunderstood, and he's supposed to be in hell watching over the souls over there, but he chooses to be in Los Angeles and hanging out, and he solves crime and hangs out with a detective, and there's like a backstory to who she is and all this stuff. It's like God's hand being worked into everything, and how he's kind of messing with everybody's lives, and how Lucifer reacts to it, stuff like that, deals with it. But I don't want to give too much away either.
Like, I did read not all the comics, but I did read a couple of collections, and kind of what I remember was like, instead of there being like a big like shootout between heaven and hell, like basically he's just like, okay, I give up, I'm done, and he just abandons hell and lets everybody go or something.
Interesting. Maybe I'll have to check that out one day. All right. Hey, before we begin, I want to do this like last week and kind of put this up front. What's all your all's Twitter handles? AJ, what's yours?
A name for this 2 and the number 2.
Okay, and yours?
At unsolicited SUG.
And mine is at Zach Jones Live. ZACH is how you spell my name. All right, as tradition dictates, AJ will have you kick this thing off.
All right, I have everybody's favorite topic smashed into one. A teenager rushed to hospital after snake bites his penis while he was on the toilet. So we've got a toilet, we've got a penis, we've got a snake.
I saw this story on Twitter.
Sirapop Mascurat went to the loo on Tuesday evening when he felt a sudden searing pain on his manhood. The university student looked down and saw the python with his jaws clamped around the tip of his penis. It quickly let go as blood squirted out around the toilet bowl. Sirapop, 18, yelled in terror as he ran out of the bathroom with his pants around his ankles in Nonthaburi in central Thailand, around 20 kilometers north of Bangkok. The teenager's panic-stricken mother calmed him down before paramedics rushed the lad to the nearby Bang Yai hospital for treatment. Sirapop said, I was using the toilet, but a few moments after I sat down, I felt a sudden pain in my penis. I looked down and saw there was a snake hanging in the toilet. There was blood everywhere. It was only a small snake, but its bite was so strong. I hope my penis can recover.
Well, did you say it was a python?
Yeah.
Like, they don't have fangs and poison, do they?
No, they don't have poison.
I think they're constrictors.
Right. Like, getting bit by them is still supposed to be bad because they have like all this bacteria and stuff. But yeah, I don't think they have like the fangs.
Yeah, actually, I quote retweeted this on Twitter, and I said, "Well, I guess my bathtub's about to get a lot messier."
Yeah, that's a horror show, man.
But he's lucky though. It only bit him in the penis. It could have bit his balls, and that would have been way worse.
But yeah, if it's a python, he probably just needs some antibiotics, and he'll probably be okay. Psychologically, maybe not so much.
Yeah, you'll never sit down on the toilet like that again.
No, actually, if you were living in a place and that happened to you, so you know that's like a possibility, could you ever like shit in the toilet again?
I would be very vigilant.
You got to invent some kind of.
I'd be like standing on the toilet, like shit.
A quick cartwheel over the toilet.
Not today, Snake.
I know the plan. Poor Snake, though. What if he got shit on, That would suck, too.
Go to the doctor and be like, "Can you give me a colostomy bag?" There's nothing wrong with me. Oh, man. Yeah, I saw that story, and I was like, that's a nightmare.
I guess you could like shit in a bucket and just transfer.
Yeah, you could. Oh, that's a very, 1700 style lifestyle right there?
Adult diapers.
I saw Honey Dipper Dan, by the way.
What did you think?
It was gross, yeah. He was like a Paul Bunyan type.
Yeah. I love that sketch.
Oh, man, how did they do it back then? They really just shoveled it out of there?
I think back then they didn't have outhouses. They just went and shit,
The woods.
covered it up or something.
Yeah.
Well, I know like some people would be like they'd shit in their garden and stuff.
Oh, I'm sure.
Fertilize it.
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard of that. In India, they used to like shit out in the crops and stuff when they were working.
Yeah, people still do that. Like, yeah,
That's how E. coli starts, right?
it can. I think, yeah, it's related to human feces.
What's gross is like in olden days, like cities, before they had plumbing, they had those chamber pots. The
Yeah, you
pot
just
they would
throw
just
out the
shit in
window.
and then just throw it out the window onto the street. Can you imagine what those streets smelled like? Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had to be
That's
pretty awful.
disgusting. And that's like up until pretty recently, and these are packed cities.
I mean, that would deter homeless people, though.
Yeah,
There you go. Yeah.
it's true. It's basically a homeless life, though, if you're just shitting and throwing it in the street.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't imagine like what those cities must have smelled like.
Yeah, it had to have been terrible.
That would have been bad.
Horses shitting in the street. Just awful, yeah.
Would you rather go back in the past or go to the future?
Future,
Yeah, I would go to the future, too.
definitely.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you went to the past, you could do the old Back to the Future and try to make some money of things.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
you got
that's
the
true.
stock market. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
But if you go in the future, maybe they cure death or something, which would be pretty nice, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't want to go to the past. Future.
I don't want to get stuck in the past. That would be horrible.
I'd like to see like right before human civilization kind of took foothold.
Like hunter-gatherers type.
Yeah. Just kind of see like what we did to the world.
As long as I could observe and not have to be in it, that would be great.
So I was watching Joe Rogan, and this is guy Graham Hancock on his show. He's not an archaeologist. He's like a journalist. He writes books and stuff about the past, though. And they were saying that humans, civilization, it might have evolved like to happen like 10,000 years ago or even sooner. And then like an event happened that like caused it to all come down. And then they didn't find that knowledge until like a few thousand years ago, and then restarted, building cities and stuff again.
I mean, I think you would find something in the fossil records. I mean, we have records of all like the stone tools and the progression of all that technology. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's just hard to believe that people who are as smart as they are today, they were probably that smart back then, like they still had the mental capacity to learn and stuff. Like if they just lived nomadic hunter-gatherer lives, or if they, did anything more than that, found out things that we couldn't figure out.
Well, I mean, there's probably a lot of stuff there that we don't know because so much of it just kind of rots away, and all you are left with is like the stone or maybe the metal or the arrowheads.
Yeah, everything else goes away.
Yeah, so much of it just disappears.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to you. You got a topic for us?
Oh, what's a good one? This is kind of a throwaway. If you could change your name to anything, what would you pick?
So, I watch wrestling, and the wrestler Edge.
Yeah.
So like before he was Edge, he wrestled under I think he said he only wrestled under this name like for one match, but I thought it was great. Sexton Hardcastle.
He threw that one
Ever since I heard that, I'm like, if I ever change my name, Sexton Hardcastle is definitely up there.
I've always liked the name Alex.
Alex, yeah, that's a pretty. Your name is already in that vein. It's kind of a short little
AJ.
yeah, it's a little poppy name.
Yeah.
Well, so my name's Lester, which is a pretty awful thing to do to a kid. But yeah, there was Lester the molester, Lester Uncle Fester, Lester
The
incester molester.
Oh God.
That was one of the more creative ones. But yeah, so it's like a family name. So your family's like, let's just go with the family name. Your dad has this name. Your great granddad has this name.
Well, that's the thing is you're a junior. Our dad's name is Lester, and I guess he like insisted on your name being Lester, but he never really went by Lester.
yeah,
He was by Mick.
he's always Mick. Like, I wonder at what point he like jumped boat.
You're like, I live this life. He's living this life now.
Got to toughen this kid up, man. But no, there was like there's a baby name I was looking at for my first son. I thought Lazarus Jones had this great sci-fi like pop sound to it, and I was like, I like this name.
I think it sounds like a 70s detective or something,
Yeah, something cool.
like a black detective.
And then that's another thing with Lester. Lester Jones, like on paper, everyone was like, "Oh, I thought you were black."
Yeah,
bad Lester Jones. Also, if you Google Lester Jones, there's a bunch of black guys who were in prison. It's like it's a predetermined like
You need to fight for your brothers.
Jones, yeah.
They're your people.
What do you think of the name like D'Artagnan?
Maybe, man, you might see names like that pop back up. That's another name you'd probably almost expect in the black community.
They're actually at work earlier this year. There was a client with that name. He wasn't my client. He was a coworker's client. But I saw his name on there. I was like, man, that's a name you don't see a lot.
Yeah,
That's a cool name. It's a unique name.
yeah,
D'Artagnan.
Never met a D'Artagnan.
So what's your fake name you would use?
Lazarus Jones.
Oh yeah, Lazarus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of a cool name.
And that's from the Bible, right? Lazarus?
Lazarus was in the Bible, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jesus brought him back to life, I believe. I'm not a huge Bible person, but
Is there a Lester in the Bible?
not that I know of.
Lester
And Angus and Shelley Jean gave birth to Lester.
He was therefore known as Lester the Molester. Unknown whether he actually molested anybody.
Why hath thou forsaken me?
Okay, I got some more hypotheticals for you guys this week. Let's see what we got here. Okay, this is an interesting one. Would you rather live your life over as the opposite gender or start your life over as a kid again? Now, for this one, for me, it depends. If you just get to start your life over, do you retain any knowledge of, hey, oh, I got to, look out for this,
Right.
then I might choose
Do
that.
I still have to shit my pants in the 5th grade?
Right. But like, if it was one of those things where like you retain no knowledge, I think I would go as the opposite gender. Just at least then you got a chance of having a completely different life. And like this one hasn't been a gym, so
Yeah.
so I would choose that.
And you could get that vag pounded.
Yeah.
Sweet action.
What about you guys? What would you choose?
I would choose to be born again, to live again. I think my life in this generation would probably be a lot different from the one it was in like the last one. Maybe more technology would give you more of a insight into doing schoolwork and stuff, get better grades.
So you're saying yourself, but just kind of a different time and place.
Oh, I didn't even read the question that way, but that is one way to interpret it. Like you get to live again, but you get to start like
now
As now?
compared to.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I think it might give me some. You get more advantages as time goes on and technology improves and stuff. So maybe that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you're talking about the memories, like, or maybe after the second life you remember both or something. I don't know, but I'd probably spice it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like if I couldn't like be born over as myself and like retain some knowledge of like don't do this, then I'm like I don't want to just relive this boring life over. Yeah, let's change it up a bit and see if things turn out better. Okay, I'm gonna. The second one here is going to be the gross one instead of the third one.
All right.
I'm going to change it up a bit. Would you rather lick a stranger's used condom or eat a handful of maggots out of a dead corpse?
I'd go with the maggots.
Yeah, I'd eat the ham.
I wouldn't even have that much of an issue about the maggots.
See, I don't know though because the used condom, like you're not necessarily gonna,
You're going to try to lick the clean side of the condom?
Okay.
Well, yeah, exactly. So you don't. It doesn't say you have to lick the inside of it with. That's definitely going to have cum in it. And it could be a quick lick of the outside that's maybe been somewhere you don't want to know, but
Some dude's butthole.
probably. But a quick lick of the outside of the condom seems better than actually having to like chomp and like digest a bunch of maggots that have been in a dead corpse.
Yeah, I can see that. If I knew the condom was used like in one direction and it was used in like, a woman or something, then I would probably go with the condom and lick the outside.
Well, if you guys can do that, then I could like let the maggots purge themselves and like fry them up in oil or something. A little bacon grease. It'd probably be a little crispy little.
You'd be eating dead body too, though.
Well, that's why you let them purge for.
They purge?
They got to shit out their.
Oh, okay.
Shit out the dead body.
Well, we're going to sprinkle some salt and pepper on the outside of that condom first.
Put some Tabasco on that condom.
Okay, now this last one I think is a bit of a toughie. I could see going either way on this one. Would you rather have a rewind button?
Wait. The condom story.
Okay.
This guy posted a story when he was a kid. Like, he was with his mom walking down the street, and he picked up a condom, and he thought it was a balloon. And so he was, like, blowing on it.
Oh, no. So he already did that.
Yeah, he'd already been down that road. Can you imagine catching your kid blowing on the condom?
Oh, man.
Okay.
he lets it go and it flies away.
Yeah. It's like spraying.
Sputters off.
Like when you get the spit in the balloon, just
Oh,
blowing it all over.
gosh. What is his mother's reaction?
Oh, you'd have to be horrified.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me of another story where in our neighborhood we grew up in, like we had kind of these white trash neighbors. Well, all of our neighbors pretty much. They had these kids that were always getting into trouble. Well, one day my mom and dad is walking past their place, and they come out. They had found their mom's vibrator, and they're like, "Airplane!"
I knew a kid who we went to his house. His mom was like, she was hot. So he showed us all his mother's dildo, and we all like touched it and everything. One kid like kissed it.
What's this one on topic? Got one more. So a guy in the army. I got a lot of these army stories, but he was probably like 16 or something, and like he's at his friend's house, and there's the same thing. Like his mom was kind of hot or whatever, and so like he was hitting her up. He's like, when you gonna let me do this or whatever? And like she went to the closet and opened the door, and there's like a guy tied up in there, and she just starts kicking the shit out of him.
This is real?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Wow.
I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Okay, and then the last hypothetical here. Would you guys rather have a rewind button or a pause button in your life? Now, this one's a toughie because like the rewind one would be nice if something catastrophic happens, like maybe you see someone like in a car wreck, or right in front of you or something, you can just like rewind, or if you do something really terrible and you can rewind. So that would be great. But then on the other hand, like the pause button, like assuming like you can still like, watch TV or whatever while it's paused, like you would have like infinite time. You could, catch up on everything you want.
Well, you could rewind and watch a different show, rewind and watch a different show.
But there, I think your memory would be wiped every time you rewind.
Oh.
Well, that doesn't seem very useful.
Well, I was thinking, like, the thing about the rewind is, like, yeah, there's definitely some things in my life, like, I'd like to go back and rewind, but at this point, like, the big ones are so far back that I'd have to relive, like, so much of my life that it wouldn't be worth it to me. So I think I would lean towards the pause button, but I don't know. That's a toughie. What do you guys think?
Yeah, if you can't remember anything, the rewind button's useless. I'd go with the pause button then.
Yeah, you live some piece of shit and then you rewind it and you'd be like, oh, I don't remember anything. You just do the same shit.
Yeah, just repeating it.
Well, yeah, that makes the rewind button kind of tough, I guess. Because it was like, my thinking is like, okay, yeah, it makes it tough because like, I was going to say like, if you can remember the things you rewind, then yeah, I guess you would just take the rewind, wouldn't you? And you just, if you wanted to pause, you would just continuously rewind. So it kind of takes the stakes out of that choice. Yeah, that's a hard one. Well, I'll kick it back around to you.
All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. Doctors remove 15-pound ball of hair from teenager's stomach. The girl, 17, ended up with a 7-kilogram, 15 pounds, ball of hair in her stomach, the weight of a 5-month-old baby. After an ultrasound, the lump was initially suspected to be a cancerous tumor, but doctors removed the hairball instead during a 6-hour operation. Video shows doctors in Jharkhand, Bokaro district in India operating on a girl on August 31st. A team led by Dr. Gian Sahu operated at a private hospital in Bokaro. Dr. Sahu said that it was the first time he'd seen this in his 40-year career. Doctors found the girl had a habit of chewing on her hair, and a lump slowly accumulated inside her abdomen and laced the entire stomach. Sources say that she is in stable condition and set to be released from the hospital. I mean, 15 pounds of hair.
Yeah, that seems like over what time period does this accumulate? Because you figure you'd eat something or blow it down the pipes at some point or something.
I mean, even if you chew on your hair, are you swallowing it? Like,
I mean, this person must have had some sort of weird obsession, right? With like eating their own hair.
Yeah, one of those compulsive or like those.
It had to be like some sort of weird,
addiction.
Yeah,
things.
Have you seen that show? I've seen one where like this lady eats mattresses. She takes the filling out of mattresses and eats it.
That's weird.
Some people eat chalk, like just weird stuff.
Well, we had a neighbor. What was she eating? Cotton balls or something?
Yeah, my sister said she was like eating cotton balls because she was convinced it would make her skinnier, like it would absorb the fat in her system or something.
And she was skinny.
She was skinny, so maybe it
works. Don't eat cotton balls, people.
Yeah, no, don't. Oh
gotta put disclaimers.
Or hair, 15 pounds.
Yeah. How much do you think your hair weighs? Like a pound, maybe?
No, not even. I don't think.
Like your whole head of hair?
Yeah. Like if you shaved, how much is that?
God, yeah, maybe not even a pound. So, she must have just been doing this forever. And
she's got to be like cleaning cats or something.
I know. I was wondering, do you think she's just eating her hair or is she eating like animal hair too?
Like cleaning up people's hairbrushes.
My hairbrush is always nice and clean. I bet she was. I bet she was eating other people's hair.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Jane at the girls' locker room.
So hair doesn't digest, apparently?
I guess not.
Which I would think it was because it's just like dead cells. You'd think you'd digest it.
Why wouldn't it digest?
But you can't think you could just sit down and eat like 15 pounds.
I would think she'd be having these like really stringy shits.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like you wouldn't be shitting at all or something. Like if you have that much in there? Because even like competitive eaters, like they eat like, what, 10 pounds?
Yeah.
Like that's... Like she had to have been like top to bottom hair in there.
I wonder how bad her guts felt when she finally went to the doctor and it was like,
Jesus Christ,
exactly.
I don't know. think you need one of those like little drain hooks to fucking pull that shit out.
If just one little strand came out of her butthole, you could have pulled the whole thing out.
We had a dog once that ate a bunch of tinsel. Yeah. So he had like a big stringy tinsel shit coming out behind him.
Yeah, it would drop all the way to the. He was like running around with this hunk of shit.
So tinsel digests, but hair doesn't. That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, it didn't digest. It
Well,
just
it went through him.
It went through. I would think some of the hair this woman swallowed would have had to go through, but man.
Yeah, maybe it's just accumulating over a long period of time. I don't know.
But yeah, that's definitely a weird compulsion to have.
Yeah, people who eat those strange things.
I mean, I always like if I feel even like a hair on my tongue or something, I'm like, I hate it, that feeling.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's really
it's like
gross.
get it, yeah.
Exactly.
All right, we'll kick it over to you.
Death row, last meal.
I'm thinking chicken fajitas.
I could consider Mexican.
Yeah.
I think I might do Italian.
Yeah, Italian's good.
I mean, I'm such a basic ass bitch. And I like pizza, so it just.
Well, that's the thing, because I was thinking about this with you, and I was like, I almost wanted to like force you off your like 3 main staples, because you eat pizza.
That's a pretty shitty death row meal. Just kill me now.
None of your favorite things.
Yeah, pizza, corn dogs, maybe a burger. We're slipping into like the rarer stuff now. But what's funny is like you have this very slim diet, and like I attack him about it once in a while, and not only is he resistant, like he's actively offended that I would suggest that he eat something else.
Well, I just don't know why it matters to you at all.
You know, I
It
heard,
seems to bother you.
It does bother me.
It shouldn't though.
I heard that if you eat like one type of food, like for a meal, then you get full faster instead of eating like a variety of different things. So you actually gain more weight by eating like a variety of foods.
Huh.
Yeah, I never heard that.
Interesting. But
Maybe
yeah,
that
I would just go like stuffed crust pepperoni from Pizza Hut or something.
Yeah.
Real basic.
You wouldn't even like get like a fancy pizza or anything? Like some from Chef or something that's like top world? Or...
Maybe, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Something like that, or maybe something Mom used to cook, like just a big ass meatloaf or something.
Like a whole
Make
pan
sure
of
you shit
lasagna.
your pants when they kill you.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
It's like I want to make a
When they
mess.
flip, when they flip that switch, I want them to have to do some
They're going to
cleanup.
pay. Oh, man.
Oh man, it's back to me already? Okay, so I was thinking about dreams, because I don't know about you guys, but I am terrible at remembering my dreams. Like usually I wake up and it's just like, it's gone. But throughout my life, there's a couple dreams that I like, reoccurring dreams that I actually remember just because I had them over and over again. And so I was wondering if you guys had any of those type of reoccurring dreams, and if so, what they're like. So I have two that really come to mind, and I haven't had either of these in a long time, but I do remember them because, like I said, I had them when I was having them. I had them all the time. So like in one, I die, and like I go to the quote unquote afterlife, but it's set up to where like right when I come in, like there's this small like piece of grass and a park bench on it, and then like to the left, there's what appears to be like the way to hell. Like there's this descending staircase. There's like smoke coming out of it. It looks ominous, right? And then to the right, there's a stairway going up that looks like it's going up to heaven. There's like clouds and shit up there. It looks all like heavenly and shit, right? But it doesn't actually say heaven this way, hell this way, right? So like I sit down on the park bench because to me, and like there's other people dying and coming in too, and like they're all going right up the heaven staircase. And so like in my mind, I'm like, this has to be a trick, right? Because I'm like, I know there's pieces of shit coming in behind me, and they're just all going up to heaven. So like in my mind, like I can never make up my mind of which staircase to go to, because I'm thinking like if I go up to heaven one, like I'm gonna get up there, and the knight from Last Crusade's gonna be up there, and he's gonna be like, "You chose poorly," like, and I'm thinking like maybe if I'm like, "Oh, I'm the meek one," I'll go to what looks like hell, and then they'll be like, "You chose the right way." You're but like in the dream, like as much as I had, I never made a choice. I'm just always on the park bench because I'm like, I don't trust going to heaven, but at the same time, I don't really want to go to hell either.
Oh man, I that's a tough situation because like, what if you choosing to go to hell is like saying, "Oh, I accept that I've made mistakes in life,"
Exactly.
and then you get to go to heaven, really,
Right.
Oh my gosh! And then going up to heaven is like saying, "Oh, I never did a bad thing,"
Right,
and
right.
not owning up to. Yeah, that's crazy.
And then the other recurring dream I had is where I'm like in a gas station, and like these guys come in to rob it. And like the weird thing about this one is it would have different endings. Like sometimes like they would ask for my money or whatever, and I wouldn't give it to them, and they just like kill me. Sometimes like they would start killing people, and it would be like kind of a horror dream where I'm like trying to run to the back and get away from them and stuff like that. Sometimes it ends where I just like go John Wick on them. I like wrestle a gun from them and just like cap them all, But I had that dream a lot too. So yeah, are there any dreams you guys remember just because you had them over and over again?
For me, it's like snakes, like lots of snakes everywhere.
I had a snake nightmare just yesterday that I vaguely remember. I know I had
Biting
a snake
you on the penis.
No,
That'll be tonight.
that'll be tonight.
and also I've had dreams where I'm falling a long distance. So like somebody like throws me off a cliff or something, and I'm just like falling forever. And I wake up, like my muscles tightened and everything.
I haven't had one of those in a long time. The ones that actually wake you up because you're like,
Yeah,
Yeah. Jump scare.
bracing for impact.
I've had those before where it's not even falling off a cliff. It's just like I trip and fall on my face.
I almost felt that was almost embarrassing.
What about you? Any long term like recurring dreams?
I mean, there were a couple because I experimented with like lucid dreaming for a while.
I thought you were going to say like LSD.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, that's on my bucket list.
mine
But-
too.
That janitor never came through. Like he said, he had a line on some LSD.
Oh,
But
Good to know you were inquiring about it.
yeah, I mean, he brought it up, so I was like,
I'd like to try mushrooms.
Yeah, I would try shrooms over LSD. LSD sounds too dangerous.
But so I had like a couple different things. Like a lot of times, like I got to the point where I'd realize I was dreaming, and like for a long time that used to wake me up. But then after I did it for a while, I wasn't waking up, and I could just like go Superman flying around and just looking at geography, and everything's really pretty. And so those ones were cool. But I also had this other one. It's like a night terror, and so I might be dreaming about whatever, but there's like two paths into this, and they're both involve caves. But so going through whatever, I'd come to this cave, and it's really weird because I'd start going down it and going down. There's forks and stuff, and like somehow I always go the same way. But the deeper I get, like the more there's this building sense of fear in me, and it's just like getting more and more afraid, just afraid. And I get to, at some point, there's like a box. There's like this small like treasure box or something, and by this time I'm just terrified, and I know that if I open the box, then it's going to be like the full-on night terror, just your whole body just screaming in fear, like primordial, like, the bears right there is going to kill you, something. And so what's weird is like I know it's going to happen if I open the box, and sometimes I'd be like, I'd just wake up and I wouldn't open it. And then there was other times where I was like, I'd open it and I just get this huge, like, just dump of like fear and terror in my body. And it's weird because I was kind of like also having like this addictive quality to it. Is like, because I was like, how long can I like stay in this state? How long can I stay in this dream with this just like rampant terror running through my body? And there were times when I woke up and I was sure I was probably like screaming and like waking neighbors and stuff. Like, it's just a weird dream, but I had that many times.
I would be afraid of the cave for sure. The box, I don't know why that was so scary.
Well, it's like whatever was in the box was like the thing, and it's like literally like every time I opened it, it was just like I don't know if there's some chemical in your brain, but like I'd get off like a full dump and just be like bang. But even though like, the anticipation and the fear is building all the way there, like when I opened it, it was like so much worse.
Okay.
I've definitely had those like ridiculous like serial killer dreams where like somebody's coming after you, like they come to your house and they're gonna break in and they like got guns or something, and like first they break in the front door, so you're hiding in the bedroom and you got that door locked, and they bust through that door, so you're in the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's in that room. And you got that door, like, well, now they busted that, and they just keep coming after you, and it's like, what is wrong with your fucking brain that it wants to put you in this kind of misery,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it plays on your fears, and it likes to play out those scenarios kind of. I don't know if it's like training, but that reminded me of another one I had when I was a kid. Like I'd had this one multiple times where like we'd be out as a family group in public or something, and someone would like try to kidnap me, and they'd be carrying me away, and like I could not scream.
Oh.
Like I couldn't make a single sound, and that was scary.
That's happened to me in dreams too.
Yeah.
I've had a similar thing where I have a dream like the one I'm talking about, and I get a gun, but I cannot pull the trigger.
I haven't had that, although this isn't recurring. But when I was doing the lucid dreaming, I had so many violent dreams where I was killing people and just crazy. And it was like always like a defense, I think, or war. No, I had some with war that probably weren't defense. But I remember one where I was like on the top of a mountain and like there's just like this bunch of people coming, and like I'm sniping them, I'm shooting them, and like one guy gets close and he's like, I knew I was going to die here. And then like I shoot. But yeah, just like I've had those house dreams and I was shooting intruders and like just a surprising amount of violence.
I take a medication, so I know I have lots of dreams, but I can't remember them at all when I wake up.
Yeah, I'm generally really bad about remembering my dreams. And I've tried some of those lucid dreaming techniques because it's like something I'd like to do, but I'm always bad at it.
Yeah, mine didn't really kick in for a while. Like I was meditating at night before I went to sleep, and then in the morning I tried to write down anything I could remember, and sometimes it'd just be like a couple words or a sentence, and eventually my mind kind of got a little bit better at remembering, and I'd remember whole like arcs and a lot of details and stuff.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, being able to control yourself in your dream.
Yeah, and definitely like more details and more kind of visual stuff.
All right, AJ, we'll kick it back to you.
All right, let's see what we got here. All right, flat earth theorists arrested after attempting to sail to the edge of the world. 2 flat earth conspiracy theorists who set off on a journey to reach the edge of the world ended up being arrested for breaking lockdown rules. The man and woman from Venetia in Italy began their quest in the midst of Italy's total lockdown, which was only reported this weekend in Italian newspaper Corriere della Sera. The paper explained how the clueless couple had convinced themselves that Lampedusa in southern Sicily was the edge of the world. To prove their theory, the deluded duo drove to the Sicilian port of Termini Imerese. There they sold their car and bought a boat. Their amateur navigation skills took them far from Lampedusa, which is not far from the coast of North Africa. Instead, tired, thirsty, and risking shipwreck, they arrived on the island of Ustica, about 40 miles northwest of Palermo. La Stampa reported on their poor seamanship. The funny thing is that they oriented themselves with a compass, an instrument that works on the basis of terrestrial magnetism, a principle they say as flat earthers should refuse. Salvatore Zicci from the Ministry of Health in Palermo told the paper. The conspiracy theorists were taken into custody for breaching lockdown rules and escorted to Palermo, where they were told to remain in quarantine on board their boat for 15 days. But instead of staying put, they decided to launch an escape bid. They set off again, but despite sailing for some 3 hours, were picked up by the harbor master only a short distance from where they had started. They were escorted back to the port, but made a second bid for freedom. This time, according to La Stampa, they took refuge in the home of a mythomaniac man who lied to the authorities about having tested positive for coronavirus. At last, the Flat Earth fans were persuaded to return home by train, according to La Stampa, to the understandable general relief of all concerned. I'm thinking, just let these people sail off. Let them get lost. If they're so hell-bent on First of all, what are you going to do if you did find the edge of the world? Die, you know?
Yeah, the danger of two people on the sea is not significant.
Yeah, just let them go.
Yeah, it's like you could
Hopefully
probably
these people won't reproduce.
you could probably be spending this money better somewhere else. Yeah.
Man, the whole flat Earth thing is such a weird conspiracy theory. Like,
Well, at least they tested it. Like they were, they're like, let's test this hypothesis.
well, the thing that really surprises me about how much traction that conspiracy theory has gotten is like most conspiracy theories. The basis is it benefits somebody.
Yeah.
Like, how does it benefit the government to fool you into thinking the world is round?
Yeah, I mean, everything you've ever learned about like gravity and everything goes out the window. So you have to relearn everything. Like it just wouldn't line up with whatever you've learned up until that point. And who does it benefit? It doesn't make sense. Like, is there somebody who's reaping the benefits of everybody believing that the world is round? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't make it out of like first grade without knowing that the world was round, and these people are freaking adults. I don't get it.
Is it the drive to believe in something that nobody else believes in? Like, oh, I know something that everybody else doesn't know.
I think that's you look at people that believe in a lot of conspiracy theories, and a lot of them are totally people that get off on that "I know something you don't know" type of thing. Yeah, I think that is a big part of it for a lot of people.
Flat Earth, though. I mean, there's just so much to disprove it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be in a mindset of not figuring it out, pretty much.
I mean, then do you believe the sun is flat?
I mean, part of me was always like, are these just like internet trolls? Or is there like a group of people that are just trolling everybody?
Well, maybe it started off with people trolling, but then there was a bunch of idiots who actually believed it.
Right.
I think that is how some of these things start.
That could
Exactly.
be, yeah.
Like the QAnon shit, too.
Mm-hmm.
Saying,
QAnon.
I was talking about that today. I think QAnon has to do with people already like riled up. Like they just need an outlet for their anger and stuff, for their outrage. So like somebody made up a story, an anonymous person on message boards made up a story, and these people were like, yes, I'm going with that. I'm gonna run with that. Like they're not stupid. I think they just chose to take that thing and become like outraged about it, even though it's like clearly not true.
I don't know what it is.
It's that Pizzagate.
is this whole right-wing conspiracy thing where they try to, convince people of these conspiracies, like there's a pedophile ring led by Tom Hanks, and Hillary Clinton was running a pedophile ring out of a pizza parlor, and that's
so basically it's like The Onion or something. It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
It's total bullshit, but there's people that believe. In fact, I have
a guy got shot because of that at a pizza place.
Yeah, I have a cousin on Facebook that actually posts shit related to that, like a documentary of how Tom Hanks runs a pedophile ring. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Oh man,
it's always the one you least expect.
All right, we'll move it over to you.
Okay, completely hairless or completely hairy?
Hairless.
Hairless everywhere?
Yeah. Because when I was young, I was hairy, so I stood out like amongst all the other kids.
You're pretty much hairy everywhere except for on the tops, losing a little bit.
Yeah, I'm losing hair on the top, which is crazy. But as a kid, I stood out like a sore thumb.
Yeah,
so,
you're like the silverback.
Yeah.
It's tough because I have a very bad head for like baldness. Like I have big old like grooves in it. I got a mole on it. I got like that big thing in the back, like like dent in it. My head just looks terrible. But then again, I don't want to be like the Wolf Man, like hairy face,
hairy ass.
So I think I would pick the smooth all over, but I maybe would have to wear a toupee or something.
I think same thing. Like not the best head for being bald, but I'm relatively hairless. Like I have a little bit of hair on my legs and stuff, but
I got patches of hair like on my gut and chest and back.
I'm mostly there in the normal places, but yeah, nothing serious. I think I'd just go bald.
Yeah, I don't want to deal. I'll be eating 15 pounds of hair if I
Or that girl will find you. Come here.
Was she good looking?
No, I don't know. It doesn't show a picture.
You could just go completely
17.
hairy and get like waxed every week, like a whole body waxing.
Painful. That would be painful.
Yeah, you'd be skinny except for your gut, which would have like 30 pounds of hair in it.
Although that much hair, people couldn't really tell necessarily how out of shape you are.
Yeah,
Man, you could have a six pack.
that's true. Yeah.
Was that it? This topic here, I maybe should have gave you this ahead of just because it might be hard for you guys to think of something right off the bat. But as I'm giving my example, maybe you'll come up with something. So I was wondering, have you guys ever had something that you loved and then kind of hated and then loved again? So my example of this is, I think the year was 1998. And a little movie came out called Armageddon. Now, this story isn't about Armageddon. I never gave a shit about that movie. But as you recall, Aerosmith made a song for the Armageddon soundtrack. The I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, that song. And like the first time I heard it, like everyone else, like I loved that song. Like it's this great, love ballad. I'm like, all right, this fucking song rocks. Here's the problem though. Everybody else in the world thought that. And so that song was fucking everywhere. Like MTV, the radio all the time. Like you couldn't fucking escape it. And you'll remember on a previous episode, I said like we have our one radio station in town that's all country music. Well, the thing is like country listeners didn't like, what's the singer for Aerosmith?
Just Taylor Tyler.
Steven Tyler.
Yeah. Like his voice was a little too rock and roll for those people. So they had some sort of country star do a cover of that song in some Kentucky Fried version of it. It was fucking terrible. And I rode the bus, all the time in those days. So I would hear that song, the shittier version, like sometimes twice a bus ride because it would get to the top of the hour again and they're like, play it again, Sam.
Oh no.
And so like not only would I only be bombarded to that song like just everywhere, like I swear to God that song was inescapable. Like you could drive into the woods and like you'd fucking get abducted by aliens and they'd be like, well, let's put on some probing music. And you'd be like, no. Like it was just inescapable. So I get to the point where I like fucking hated that song. Every time it came on, I was like, oh my God, fucking shoot me. But then probably, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years goes by and it gets in the lesser rotation or out of rotation finally. And like, I don't know if it was through luck or just sheer force of will, but I swear I went something like 10 years without hearing that song. And then randomly I just heard it again. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this is a great song. I just heard it too many fucking times. And like now it's like on my, phone and everything. And like I will listen to it from time to time. And like it is a great song. But like there was a period of time where I just like fucking hated hearing that song. And so I was wondering, do you guys, not necessarily has to be a song, but have you ever had something that subscribed to that to where like first you really liked it and then you got to the point where you didn't and then later on you liked it again?
I do it with movies. I'll watch a movie maybe I watch a movie like 10, times or something, like a bunch of times. And then I'll get sick and tired of it. And then, I go a few years without watching it and then I see it again and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a great movie. There's one movie in particular that I feel like nobody's even watched is Evolution. I love that movie.
I saw that one.
Yeah, I watched it like so many times over and over again. But to the point where I was like, oh, I can't watch this movie anymore.
Yeah, I thought that was underrated. I like that one.
Yeah, it's a good movie. And now I can watch it again, so I love it.
Like, I don't think I really did that with movies where I definitely watched them enough times where I I don't need to watch them as much, even though I still like them. But on the music front, like I worked in a retail and that killed a lot of songs for me. There's a few that came back that I still like. They had a lot of Hall & Oates. They had some Eagles. So some of those came back and some they're just going to be dead forever.
Yeah, I worked at that same store and yeah, they I didn't even know, like I obviously heard of the Eagles, but I didn't really know all their catalog of songs. But like, yeah, they played a lot of Eagles song there. But yeah, I definitely, same thing. When I was working there, I was getting tired of those songs.
Yeah.
You just hear them too much. I feel like anything you hear that much, it gets old.
Yeah, there might have been one or two like I was stoked to hear them, but the rest they were just like, and even now, so they'll be playing. I'll be like, do I know this song? Why do I feel angry right now? You know?
Did you ever come back to loving that song about paving paradise and putting up a parking lot?
Oh god, that was terrible. And they had two versions of that one.
Yeah, because there was like the really old version, and then there was like the Counting Crows cover version.
No, they really rubbed that one in. No coming back for that.
All right, we'll kick it back over to you then.
All right. So I got some would you rathers.
All right.
Would you rather swim 300 meters through shit or dead bodies? This one's easy for me.
How long have they been dead?
They're decomposing.
Oh, so not.
It's like that cow that guy went through.
Yeah, I'll go with the shit.
I would lean towards the dead bodies, but I feel like they would be harder to get through.
And it'd be gross, and also like that smell of dead, like whatever that compound is fat soluble, so it absorbs in your fat, and then you just smell like death for like a long.
You don't think
time.
the shit absorbs through your skin?
I don't think so. You can wash off shit.
So, yeah.
Does your butthole smell like shit 24/7? No,
Probably.
you just. Well, I mean, if you really get up in there, but I mean,
Before we got that bidet, I would say yes.
but I mean, in general, I think shit washes off. You know, you clean up and you're fine.
What would you choose?
I was thinking dead bodies, but Lester's making a good point.
Yeah. No, you do your little Shawshank crawl.
I mean, I certainly didn't know they would be absorbing through my skin. That's a bit.
Yeah, it absorbs in your fat. That's why it's like some of those crime scene stuff is so fucking gross.
How long does it take to get out of your body?
Well, like it's in your fat, so it takes a while, man.
Oh, man. I guess I'd go with shit,
Yeah.
which is surprising. 'cause-
Yeah. I mean, with dead bodies, there's probably some shit there.
That's why I was like,
Yeah, this.
well, yeah, because they shit themselves when they die too.
Yeah.
But
yeah, recently dead, you're probably fine. But if they're stinking,
if they're decomposing, you might be in trouble.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, would you rather lose the ability to lie or believe everything you're told?
I feel like for a long time I've been pretty gullible. Like I've kind of rounded that out now. But also I don't lie a lot.
Yeah, I don't lie a lot, and I don't like to lie. So
But there are still like strategic lies that come out.
or like white lies.
Like somebody asks you like a really personal question.
Could you just not answer?
Yeah,
It's just like
I would think
That's true.
so.
Yeah, you could
just
probably
walk
not
away.
answer. Yeah.
I think especially in this day and age, I would take away the ability to lie, because if you believe everything you hear, you're going to be a big time conspiracy.
Yeah.
You're going to be the flat earther. There's just too much stupid shit out there.
And you're going to be
And you're always gonna be
conflicting with yourself.
You're going to be flip flopping constantly too.
Yeah.
I believe Biden. Yeah, I believe Trump.
Yeah, but like the thing is like when your buddy figures out you can't lie, you'd be like, "Hey, Janine, come here.
Then
Hey,
you
do you
just
think
don't
she's fat?"
That's when you walk away. All right.
Well, I think that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You just make a
Also, yes.
Yeah, professional politician. It's like I didn't lie, but I also didn't answer the question.
Did I ever tell you about corn pop?
All right. And this last one is, I think, the best one. Would you rather know how you will die or when you will die?
I'm gonna go with how. I don't really want to be counting down the days.
That's true. Yeah, I guess how. But the thing is, if you know how you, like, let's say, like, you find out you're going to die of something, like a car wreck.
Snake bites you
then
on
you
the
would
dick.
you would just like never go on a
Yeah.
car ride.
Exactly. You'd never take a car again.
But yeah, I think I would go with how.
Yeah, I think I would too, actually. All right. That covers me.
Best funeral.
That I've gone to.
No. That you'd like to have for
Because
yourself.
I gotta say, they've all been downers.
Huh. Best funeral, huh?
I'd like to go to that one with like the crackhead singing Amazing Grace.
Oh, yeah. I saw that one. Oh, my God.
Oh, that was terrible.
Now, can I do that thing in that like Bill Murray movie I never watched, where I fake my death and then I go in costume to my own funeral to see how people react, if they're crying or not?
I guess. I feel like if I died, there'd be like 5 people.
Yeah, same here.
My mom would be there. She'd be really sad.
Yeah, mine would be about 5 people.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of people. Let's see. God, what would make a good funeral?
I'd want it to be like a party. I'd want people to be celebrating, happy, drinking. You know?
Like a wake.
Yeah.
I think just a big ass funeral pyre would be. I'd be up for that. People could be out there cooking hot dogs and fucking s'mores.
Here's what I want. So I'm cremated, and secretly, a very small portion of my ashes are put into the food everyone's eaten. And then at the end, they tell everybody that they've just eaten a portion of me.
They put on like the VHS tape.
Oh, yeah.
If you are seeing this,
I get some
you just ate something.
I would definitely want one of those videos.
The VHS.
If you're watching this, I'm already dead.
Yeah.
You could do some good stuff with one of those.
Yeah. Man, I might have to do one of those for my, my actual death.
I'm really hoping I didn't shit myself to death. Anyway.
There was one funeral recently where a guy made a video and he was like, "I'm still alive. I'm alive. Let me out."
Oh, yeah. He had like a tape in the casket. I mean, that's good. You get a little laugh in. You don't want people to be all fucking down about it. It happens.
Man, back to me already. So I noticed on Twitter the other day there was this hashtag that hashtag cancel Netflix, and I was like, what is this all about? So apparently there's this new movie they put out on Netflix called Cuties.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And it's like about these like 11-year-old girls who like basically start a dance group, but they start emulating like some of the like sexy dancers.
Yeah,
so,
they're like twerking.
Yeah, so they like start twerking and stuff. And so like a bunch of people on Twitter like saw like the promo material for this and were like outraged and were like, I'm canceling Netflix because they're like pedophiles or promoting pedophilia basically. But like apparently like a big message of the movie is like, basically pointing out how it's not good for
this is something that's
like our society is having a bad effect on young girls,
right?
And so it's actually probably has a message that the people getting so upset would actually agree with if they could get over the thing. So I have just a small thing from this is an article written by a guy named John Sexton from Hot Air.
Sexton Hardcastle?
Yes, Hardcastle. He writes, it's a real shame that so many conservatives are condemning Cuties when they might find a great deal to like about the movie. And no, I don't mean they harbor a secret taste for twerking preteens. This is very much a film about what happens to kids when their parents aren't physically or emotionally present in their lives. It's highly skeptical of social media platforms and what sexualized mainstream culture teaches children about what behavior is normal or desirable. Though its characters post provocative dance videos and wear revealing costumes, Cuties doesn't present their actions as liberated or admirable. Instead, the movie repeatedly shows other characters reacting with sadness or disgust when these girls try to act like grown women. The triumphant climax of the movie isn't a dance competition, but when Amy returns to age-appropriate clothes and games, finding an authentic version of herself and acting like the gummy bear scarfling, giggly girl she was earlier in the film.
Yeah, so it's one of these things like I've seen a few times where social media just grabs onto something and basically, with no intelligence or even like any idea what's really going on, they latch onto it and then it kind of firebombs it without.
I noticed there's a lot of politicians that.
Yeah. And so, I mean, like, critically it did okay, and then, like, it won some award at Cannes.
Yeah, like a French award.
But, yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing, I haven't seen it either, but my guess is that there's some short-sightedness probably.
Yeah, it's just, like, do people really think, like, Netflix is trying to, like, promote pedophilia? I don't know. It's...
Yeah, no.
When I saw all those, like, cancel Twitter things, I'm like, these guys are just... trying to make themselves look better.
Yeah, and 99% of them didn't cancel their Netflix.
Probably not.
Yeah. If I saw that, I would be a little uncomfortable, but that's natural, I feel like.
Yeah.
But if you know the storyline behind it, then
Yeah.
it makes sense, and especially kids are probably going to be watching it more than anybody. So, I mean, yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm guessing too because I haven't seen it, but
Yeah, it's one of those things where I thought, a lot of those people on Twitter were trying to call attention to themselves, like, what do they call it, virtue signaling or whatever. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm on Twitter and I grab a lot of like stupid hashtags and I post stupid shit about it. I didn't do that one, but I mean, yeah, I mean, even then, I bring more than my fair share of ignorance to the table.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Like, like I should think of like some real like shit show on Netflix.
Yeah,
Louis Hammer.
Rocky 5, cancel Netflix.
Something like that. Oh, well, that was my last topic. So AJ, I'll kick it back to you.
All right. Let's see what we got here. I have quite a few topics.
I have a topic.
Oh, boy. That is a rough one.
There was some vibration on that one.
And you aimed it at me, too. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Well, I don't like those uncomfortable silences.
You have to fill it with uncomfortable noise. All right. Woman donates kidney to cop who arrested her years ago. An Alabama woman saved the life of a police officer who arrested her several times by donating a kidney to him. According to Fox News, Jocelyn James, a recovering drug addict, saw on Facebook that former officer Terrell Porter was in need of a kidney transplant. After coming across a Facebook appeal by Mr. Potter's daughter, Miss James reached out to her and offered to donate one of her own kidneys to the cop who had arrested her numerous times. Jocelyn James is 40, has now been sober for years, but once battled drug addiction so severe she lost her car, job, and used to break into houses to fund her habit. She was arrested 16 times between 2007 and 2012 and was on the state's most wanted list. One night she saw her name flash on the TV as a wanted criminal and decided she was sick of living that life. The next day she turned herself over and went to jail for 6 months. And she went to rehab for 9 months. Today she's helping other people kick the habit and stuff. But, I mean, she donated her kidney to a cop who arrested her, And I think that's amazing. I don't know if I would donate my kidney to somebody I knew that I didn't have like a fondness for.
Yeah, that's a pretty huge thing because you're taking years off your life with a kidney. So, I mean, that's a pretty big turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, you do decrease your lifespan, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and like she was doing hardcore drugs for years. Like she might have done damage.
Might already have a little issue in that.
You can take my bad kidney and live a few years.
Well,
But-
who was it? We were listening to somebody that said, like, if you do heroin, it doesn't damage your organs.
I think that was Artie Lang.
That was Artie Lang,
Yeah.
It just damages like the skin and stuff like that.
Well, you still get addicted, and it's, like, really hard to get off, but apparently it doesn't damage your organs and stuff, so that's why, like, who's the guy with the Stones? I'm forgetting all the Rolling Stones.
Mick Jagger?
Keith Richards.
Keith Richards. That's why he legendarily, did so many drugs, but yeah, heroin.
Oh. Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess go to you.
Would you rather be an ugly genius or a pretty retard?
Pretty retard, hands down.
Ugly genius.
Ugly genius. I think I'm ugly genius.
What?
Yeah.
Well, like I do have envy for those people who are born gorgeous, and like also I think there's a certain happiness with being gorgeous and stupid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I think I have a deeper longing to always be like smarter than I am.
See, but happiness. That's what you want to maximize it. Like pretty retard. I mean, that's the life.
Well, I mean, but okay, look, you could lose your looks, like something could happen to you or whatever. But being a genius, like that's something that can benefit you for the rest of your life. You could become rich. You could do a lot of things if you're smart enough.
Yeah, if you got money, then
Who needs looks?
But if you're super pretty, you could be a model, bank millions of dollars.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
You still got your routes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy money.
Plus, I mean, if you're pretty, you're probably getting gorgeous women, you know?
Yeah, but if you're rich, you're getting gorgeous women too. I mean, if you're a genius, you know, you know how to get women.
But if you're a pretty retard...
I'm guessing there's a fair number of geniuses who weren't slaying it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, look at Franklin, Benjamin Franklin and all them people. Like, they were banging women like crazy.
French prostitutes.
Yeah,
getting syphilis.
the Continental Congress, I heard, like, got so many women pregnant in Philadelphia, I think.
Well, it was like almost a cultural thing with Franklin, I think, because he had to go to France, and then basically, like, if you didn't take up, you know, a lover or something, like, you were kind of shunned almost, like it was weird, right?
Okay.
Because I think he went there. I think John Adams went there, and like they didn't like John Adams, but they liked Franklin. But he absorbed the culture. He took it in, and you know.
Get your dick sucked. John Adams like, no. Oh, this guy's a problem.
I can't trust a guy like this.
You got a troublemaker. He doesn't want his dick sucked.
Man, I ran out of topics. Well, you got anything else?
I got plenty.
What's our time?
We're at like an hour 8.
Okay, we could do a little more.
All right, so this one's not funny, but basically what happened is The Simpsons has ended white actors doing the voices of people of color.
Oh, I heard that.
So did they switch them out?
Yeah, like some people are stepping down.
Now here's the question: do they have to try to do the voice like the white guy did it?
That's what I'm wondering. So are they going to hire like the most stereotypical sounding person? Or are they going to hire somebody who's like me and stuff and like, you know, just sounds like a normal American but doing the voice? Because then it kind of defeats the purpose of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, it's almost like, we're...
Hey, but this means you could now audition for Apu.
I could, and I could finally get revenge on The Simpsons for ruining my childhood.
The thing is, though, nobody watches The Simpsons anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I think Simpsons is pretty much downhill.
The thing is, and like, I heard the guy that does the voice of Cleveland on Family Guy, like, he decided he was quitting too. But like, that's the whole thing of voice acting is like pretending like you're somebody else. So like
at that point it's just acting, and it seems almost more racist that you're demanding someone be of a certain race.
I think voice, as long as they're not trying to be stereotypical, right?
Yeah.
Because Hank Azaria said that when he tried out for Apu, they were like, make it the most stereotypical racist accent you can possibly make. You know, so like that's a bad thing. But if it's just like with a Cleveland show, I mean, he doesn't really sound like he's trying to do a stereotypical black accent.
Yeah, it's just a guy's voice kind of.
Yeah, a little nasally, I guess, but you know, it doesn't sound like anything to me. So, yeah, it's just the way you do it, I think.
But like when the whole Apu...
But there's another thing too, because when you have, like The Simpsons, there's so many characters, and there's like 2 voice actors that do like 90% of them, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're cutting costs by just having like one guy who can do a huge range.
That's true.
So, I don't know.
But I think when the whole Apu controversy went on, like Matt Groening, one of the things he said was like, well, you know, Homer Simpson is a very stereotypical person, you know, like suburban idiot dad, you know. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's always generalizations, and it's people pick certain ones. So
I hated Apu. I love The Simpsons, but I hated Apu. I could separate the character from the show.
You know, that is interesting because like when that whole thing went on, I was like, is this a thing? Do like Indian people like really give a shit about Apu? But you did kind of feel that way, like it was a little too stereotypical.
Because people would use it against me all the time as a kid, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the one like Indian voice they know.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It probably would have been anything that sounded any different at all.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. I guess it's easier to mimic one of those voices, like an Apu voice or something.
Plus, I mean, let's just be honest. The Indian accent sounds different from any other accent. You know, it's unique. Like it sounds funnier in English. When you hear an English person speak Hindi, it also sounds really funny. You know, but it's something that it stands out. So you know, the way it's used, it's sometimes pejorative. You know, like it's like a bad thing.
You got anything in your manifesto we're talking about?
I want to change topics a little bit. Best teacher that you've had and why? You don't feel like you've had any good teachers?
Yeah, I don't. I don't feel like I've had anybody who really spoke to me.
I've had some okay ones, and I've had a lot of really bad ones. I don't know.
I'm surprised. I've had a few good ones.
Well, you go then.
Yeah.
Well, so in college, I had like this guy who was probably like 80, and he's like this little skinny guy, but he was super passionate and like crazy smart. And I don't know, he just resonated with me quite a bit. But then I also had like a science teacher in high school I liked a lot. So I don't know. I feel like they definitely make a difference when you have a passionate teacher who's like interested in the topic, because I have had some bad ones.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Well, okay, what about a shitty teacher, a particularly shitty one? Do you remember some of our substitutes in high school that were like blatantly like racist and assholes and shit?
I don't remember racist, but
There was like a couple. There was like one really old guy I remember.
I do remember like some really like just old people that were just glorified babysitters because they couldn't really teach the subject.
Yeah, I've had those. I had one teacher who told me that she used to work in an inner city school, and she used to have to like make sure to put her hands between her legs so that it was dangerous in the inner city school, and they were like pervy, I guess. I think that was kind of racist. I was like, so what? You worked in the inner city, and they wanted to they thought you were sexy, and you don't think that would happen out here? Like, I don't know. I just thought it was strange. She felt sexually.
It's not what you're supposed to say, but maybe wear pants.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've also had sexy teachers, and yeah, you look.
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know.
it just seems weird that she thought in the inner city it was more of a danger to her, like, sexually or something.
No.
This is a bit of off topic, but related to that is, have you ever had a teacher say something that kind of like horrified you? So like the example I get, like I had a teacher in 6th grade, not a bad teacher, but this thing stands out as kind of shitty. Is I remember there was a kid in class that like wasn't paying attention or said something stupid, and I just remember my teacher going, "Oh, look at this kid. Probably still plays with his G.I. Joes." And like the whole class just erupted in laughter. And I was like, yeah, he plays with his G.I. Because like at that time, I still played with my G.I. Joes all the time. So I just remember like being horrified that like apparently that wasn't okay.
Like, what did this guy do to get called out? Because I don't want to do that.
Yeah, what did he do?
I don't remember. He just like said something stupid. I don't know. Or did something immature. I don't know.
Yeah, teachers sometimes they got to be having bad days and just like probably later they're like, I shouldn't have done that.
I could never be a teacher. I feel like kids are just, especially teenagers. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, teenagers are idiots.
I feel like, even though they're still idiots, high school would be better than like grade school, middle school, I think.
I feel the opposite. I feel like high school kids are like, they could be malicious. They have the intent to do, like they can be real assholes, and they have a brain behind them, so they can actually accomplish something.
I think I could do those schools, but I'd want like the smart classes, like the smart kids. I'd be like, advanced math, or
that would weed out a little bit.
You weed out some of the retards. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't. Yeah, there's certain shop classes or something where you get all the retards trying to get an easy pass. I'd be like, no, I don't want to teach this.
Man, I remember 7th grade, I had this female gym teacher, and like she was an uber feminist. But I remember she always insisted, and I don't know why she always did this. Instead of like anytime we had to play some sort of game, instead of like making co-ed teams, she would always place the boys against the girls. And then she would always give the girls some sort of like, advantage.
Oh, that's feminism.
But then the boys would always win. And you could tell she was always like upset. And I'm like, why are you doing this?
That's such a terrible mindset.
Yeah, that's just a bad way to do it.
It was, but she would always do it. I'm like, it was insane. And I was like, why? Why do you do this to yourself?
That is a bad one. It's a bad lesson for the kids as well.
Yeah,
it is. It is.
Oh man.
Yeah. So that was a bad teacher.
I'm wondering when they're going to curtail this, like, the men and women's sports because they identify as a woman and stuff. Because that is also kind of shaky.
Well, some sports, it maybe wouldn't even make a big difference. But in high contact, like MMA type stuff.
Yeah.
Totally unfair to.
I mean, if they were in the same weight class, maybe not. I don't know.
No, because I've actually heard Joe Rogan talk about this, and there was an instance of this happening where a man, identified as a woman, and then was just like trouncing the biological women.
Right.
And it's like, it is a real problem in the contact sports. It should not be allowed. I mean, can you imagine if like tomorrow, like Brock Lesnar was like, oh, you know what? I identify as a woman.
Yeah.
And then he just went and started fucking wrecking shop against women. That would be like so uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, and like there's like a track runner too who was like that.
Yeah. The number of wrestlers, but I think that's more like high school level, right? I don't remember. But yeah, it's a little it's a gray area, I guess.
I mean, there's some sports where it probably wouldn't make a hill of shit of, difference. But I think sports like that, boxing, MMA, yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, in that situation, like, you can identify as whatever you like, but in the sport itself, like, you should take into account, the biology of a person. That definitely matters.
And, I would think, too, like, if I was, like, a boxer and, like, there was a woman who identified as male and, was in the same, and, he could probably kick my ass or whatever, but you would still maybe feel a little bit uncomfortable, like, hitting someone like that with full force. I don't know.
It'd be tempting to just take the L and be like, sorry.
I mean, yeah, the social constructs of it also, like, are weird, but I think just the physical, like, if women and men have these differences that give an advantage to a man to, like, be able to beat up the woman, then you should have them in separate classes, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Or create a whole different class of, like, men who identify as women competing against each other if you could find enough people like that.
That's the thing, is you probably couldn't find enough people.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know what percent of people are trans, but it's a, pretty small overall percentage.
Yeah.
And then of those are, like, elite athletes that specialize in this particular sport and things like that. So, yeah, I think it would be hard to create a league, like that. Boy, either of you guys got anything else?
Childhood fears? Something you were terrified of?
Oh, that we aren't anymore?
I guess. I don't know.
Because I'm like, snakes are...
They've always been around.
That's always been a fear and still is.
I was just bringing this up because I have this one where, for some reason, like, I was terrified of our parents' closet. And more specifically, I was terrified of our parents' closet because I thought Jesus was going to come out of there and get me.
Jesus was going to get you?
And, like, if my parents were back there, if I had to go back there for something, like, I'd come sprinting back down the hallway. Because Jesus was in there.
Okay, I do have a childhood fear because this was on when I was a kid. Unsolved Mysteries.
That was terrifying.
Not only is the theme song of that show the scariest fucking piece of music in existence.
How is that? How was it so scary? It was
my God.
Scary.
And then Robert Stack's voice on top of it. Man, I would be so scared of that show.
Yeah,
I would be afraid to walk down the hallway after watching that fucking show. And then the other thing about that show is they would, like, have open murder cases.
Oh, yeah.
And they would be like, if you've seen, this guy with a hat and a mustache, be on the lookout, and you'd be like, the neighbor down the street has a hat and a mustache.
Yeah. That's another thing. Like, you would be like, could it be?
Yeah, that show fucking terrified me as a kid, man. So scary.
For me, it's always been the water, oceans. I used to fear being in the shower and, like, the ocean breaking through the faucet and, like, I'd be engulfed in it. So, yeah.
That's a unique one.
Yeah.
What did they say? Like, our uncle, like, he saw Jaws and, like, he wouldn't go in, like, a stream or a creek or
yeah,
he just, like, nope.
Yeah, for a long time after seeing Jaws, he, like, wouldn't swim anywhere.
But I mean, it's so obvious that a shark can't fit in a stream.
Right. It's not rational. Yeah.
But I mean, he was probably like a 10-year-old kid or something.
Yeah, he was a kid at that time. Yeah, he wasn't like a grown man.
That would be a little different.
Oh, I don't know. How are you guys feeling?
Well, I ran out of topics ages ago, but if you guys, it's up to you guys. If you guys got something else you want to go out on.
You guys watch any reality shows?
No, I try to stay clear of them. I don't like
Yeah, I
them.
don't watch reality shows.
Like I don't watch like the stupid ones, but the ones that I watch are like the repair shop or like the baking show or
Yes,
Cars.
I'm aware.
Yeah, Zach doesn't like it, but they're just like they're
I mean, they're certainly not as bad as like The Bachelor or something like
Yeah.
that.
right. There's a certain like
Real Housewives.
mellow like it's not too crazy. Maybe there's a couple characters in there, but it's just like just nice, easy. Is there a reality show if someone made it you would watch it?
I mean, that's the thing is like those ones. Like I'm not into cars or baking. It may be something around comic books, but I don't know what it would be.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Although sitting around watching anybody write or anything is pretty boring. Although I do watch like YouTube where people are just like sitting there drawing sometimes. Like there's that same calm like captivation in that for me, I guess.
I mean, even though there was probably a lot of bullshit in it, you watched that Love on the Spectrum show. That was like the last kind
I
of show.
really like that.
And I gotta admit, I did kind of like that.
Yeah, there's a certain charm to some of those people.
Because there's at least some of those interactions that I don't think.
But
like,
there's also
especially-
like a lot of funny stuff.
Like I imagine with that show, maybe I'm wrong, is that the producers probably don't manipulate those people like they would,
Right.
normal people on a normal dating show. So I think there's maybe a little more quote unquote reality in that show. But yeah, I that was an entertaining show.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. I did like that.
Well, I heard a comedian tell a joke about how everybody would watch Real Housewives of ISIS, and I was like, yeah, I would watch that show. Like the wives of ISIS members and how they live and what they do. Like, what is that like?
Probably like wives of Trump supporters or something. It's just people who believe crazy
Yeah,
ass shit.
that's true.
Like are
The man has all the power.
militant about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, something crazy.
Did you see that story about how Osama bin Laden's niece was like a big Trump supporter?
I forgot what she said. There was something she said that came up.
But she's Saudi, right? So that makes sense because Trump and the Saudis get along really well, I think. And she's probably rich, right? Like the bin Laden family's like wealthy.
Yeah, that does seem to ring a bell. But
Probably, but I don't know. All right. Anything else that you guys want to wrap this up?
yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right. So anyone listening, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave us a positive review. One more time, let's go around real quick. AJ, what's your Twitter handle?
A name for this too, the number 2.
And Lester?
Unsolicited SUG on Twitter. Yeah, go ahead.
And you can find me on Twitter at Zach Jones Live, ZachJonesLive. That'll be it for this week. Make sure to join us again next week. Bye.
Take care, guys.
All right, have a good one.